We're back for another YouTube. It's back day today. We're here at Fit Club, Las Vegas. Just got back on the ground. I was in Maryland this weekend. Wanted to get back on track, trying to get my meals in order. I've been traveling like a madman the last few weeks. We haven't been doing as many YouTubes. My commitment now is to try to stay a little more consistent, which I have some on the back burner. I have some going forward, but today I wanted to show a little bit of back training. Got J-Mac behind the camera today. So we're gonna get some quality footage, get some explanation of some exercises, lead you guys into the start of a new year, because I know many of you guys are starting your New Year's resolutions as we roll up and wrap up another year. 2025 has been crazy. I want to thank everyone for all their support. You know, we have been doing a lot between Cutler'S, all the appearances, Cutler Nutrition, Mega Fit Meals, Young LA, our TRT Kingdom. We've been crushing it, so I want to thank you guys for the continuous support. You guys will see all the links below. We're going to get at it, so make sure you guys come check it out. We're at Fit Club. Make sure you guys check out Fit Club when you're in town, and come over and see Gavin and Vinny. They'll take good care of you. Let's go.
Better and improve. How do we do everything?
What should I try? That's what I want to know before I hit this workout right now.
Okay.
So what other gym do you come to? And we have Fit for Life here, which I...
Fit for Life Desserts.
Yeah.
Go to...
fitforlifedessertslv.com. So make sure you guys check it out.
I come here. Everything's gluten-free, no refined sugar. I have vegan. That's the brownie. That's a hit.
Do I pick it up or
yeah,
it's okay?
Grab it. Oh, that's the breakfast cookie. That's a good nuggie. That's nut-free. Okay, so I do something for everybody.
Nut-free.
But my protein cookie's a hit.
Carrot cake.
My carrot cake's a hit. I'm not good.
All right, so we're ready to fuel the workout. Make sure you guys check them out. All right, let's load this thing up. Probably the only gym that has pink equipment in it. All right, so we're always starting with the reverse. You guys know I always talk about the reverse pull downs being something to really pull the lats. So we talk about the front double bicep, and I used to pop the lats out. Well, this exercise is really good because you get that pull on the lats. Now, I like to do these both arms at a time. You can do them isolaterally, especially on this piece of equipment. So we'll get a couple feel sets in, get the motion, and then probably 3 working sets, and then we'll roll to the next. All right, so with the reverse pull down, what you'll notice is I'm very explosive to really get that contraction. So I believe that we have so many muscle fibers that we need to hit. Ideally, with that explosive movement, I feel you could target specific muscle fibers. You know, there's the fast twitch or slow twitch. Now, some people, you notice in today's era, a lot more people are training with that slower, concentric, eccentric movements. For me, I power through the movements. You can watch all the old videos, a little more loose, but beneficial for what we do. So really explosive, control, explosive, okay? But control is the key. All right, a little more weight. So pyramiding the weight up. Back in the old days, someone just asked me, I was just in Boston, Jose Raymond asked me about, did you ever use 10s or 25s when you were training for Olympias? And I had to think about it for a minute. And you know, we had this ego thing where I didn't touch anything but 45s. Truthfully, I did use 25s and 10s, I'm not gonna lie. Because sometimes you want that little extra resistance. Nothing wrong with that. I never messed with 5s though, I'll be honest. I never really went up in 5-pound increments, but 10s, 25s, 35s. Good pull on this. I'm gonna do one more set. One of the biggest questions, what kind of tips can you give for getting the biggest pumps? Number one, you guys know, I always talk about pump comes with food. You need to have glycogen in the muscle. Obviously that's gonna give you that crazy pump, but you need to eat. So I always suggest eating 1 hour before training, but really having sufficient meals on a consistent pattern is going to give you the pumps. Number two, supplementation. I mean, nitric oxide, citrulline. I mean, I have a pump product called Amplify, which has all these ingredients in it. That's gonna help with blood flow. For you guys really just trying to get, a better pump in the gym, you have to have that mind to muscle connection. So you have to basically really know what you're gonna go through, and you've gotta do these repetitions. Now, we talk about the crazy pumps. They all come with repetitions. So repetitions meaning everything over 8 reps. So I never really perform any exercises under 8 repetitions for skin bursting pumps. I think that's ideal. Now, we have a lot of different theories on how to get the best pump. Sometimes people do drop sets, supersets. For me, it's just straight sets, short rest periods. So 45 to 60 seconds between each set. Keep the intensity, keep the blood flow, but remember also the tissue work is going to help open up that fascia, okay? We always talk about having fascia that's stretching, allowing the blood flow, the expansion of the muscle tissue, okay? We talk about muscle fibers. We go in the gym, we work for the biggest pumps possible. We don't care what weight it is. We can make a 10-pound weight feel like 100 pounds if we really want to. So ideally, keep that fascia loose, stretch a lot, do that deep tissue massage. Stretching is important in between sets. Keep that muscle healthy, keeping that blood flow, the nutrients in there. The pumps can never be enough, right? So if you notice, there's always one set you take a little further. So I always talk about training to failure. For me, I don't think I've ever trained to failure necessarily. Definitely not at this point in my career. I'm more just going for peak contraction, really getting the feel of the muscle, right? You see me go through and I struggle for those last few reps. If I never count repetitions, which today I don't really just kind of go by feel, it's touch and go, I always end up between 8 and 12 reps. I know it's a broad range, but ideally it's all about feeling the movement, getting that contraction, keeping it above 8 reps, blood flow, train for the pump, don't over fatigue yourself. Remember, I'm training 7 days a week, which I never recommend. I love being in the gym, I love training, I love being moving. It's definitely more for my mind than it is for my body these days. Just gonna shift right over here. So we do a lot of dumbbell work, but today, one of my favorite hammer machines is the low row. I actually had this in my home. I built a home gym back in '95 as I was training for the Nationals for my pro card. And I actually picked out the top hammer machines. They had just got launched out at the time. Hammer strength was a new thing. So I was able to put these in my gym. And this was one of the machines that I actually put in there. And I had a really wide back when I was younger, but I really wanted to work on that thickness. So I consider this kind of a thickness exercise. It kind of mimics the dumbbell row, but what I really like about this is you have the pad to keep yourself stationary. So I'll do single arm at a time here. So isolateral movements where you see me do the rows. So ideally keeping the chest, not pulling too much, but really getting that contraction, really squeezing the lat so you can get that Christmas tree, the lengthening of the lat, and this can build the width, but also mainly the thickness, the rhomboids, the traps, everything. So the whole back portion. So we'll start with 2 plates. All right, so single arm, guys, good body position. I actually like to hold this base here. Very strict. When I said strict, I kind of laughed a little bit because strict doesn't go in the Jay Cutler vocabulary training, right? They call me the form king, or I'm being corrected on Instagram all the time for my crazy, sloppy form. Actually, you know what's funny? When I was 21, I had my first Muscle and Fitness magazine cover, and it said wide delts on it, and it said Jay's sloppy shoulder routine. Because when I did the interview, you know, they used to write the articles, and I talked about I train sloppy. I was at full admission of what I do, and today now, full circle, over 30 years later, they're kind of talk about, oh, Jay's form is not so good and this, and you know, people think you need to train so strict. Bullshit. It works wherever it works. Just do what you do. So we're gonna do 3 sets here. I don't know how many reps that was. We'll probably pyramid the weight a little bit, but let's see what happens. Go up a little bit. All right, rep volume versus rep time. What is the ideal for muscle growth? Now, for me, you know, I've always been a high volume trainer. So when we talk about high volume, it's a lot of sets after sets. So the time that I actually rest is actually short. I believe the shorter rest time, yes, you can't go as heavy. So your repetitions should always fall between 8 and 12. I think ideally that's what it is, especially training volume. And the rest time, you're not gonna be as strong. You wanna either do one or the other. You wanna train low volume, low repetition, or you wanna train higher volume, short rest periods, and higher repetitions. It always worked well for me. Now, I've never tried the low volume approach because it works so well out of the gate, the higher rep, higher volume, short rest periods. That's the way I was taught early on when Chris Aceto took me under his wing back in the early 90s when I was a teenager. And for me, watching my progress, watching, you know, my lifts go up at the same time my body growth, why change anything, right? So we all have our certain systematic approach on how our peers trained or how we were taught. And remember, this was pre-internet, so we never had the visual experience of watching someone perform exercises until Dorian Yates's Blood and Guts came out, or, you know, I watched, you know, other people, Sean Ray's videos, who was more of a trainer like I was. So you had one extreme versus another, but for me, I think longevity plays a key. So when you want to train, you know, and stay lasting in the gym and be able to train into your 30s, 40s, 50s. I know some of the younger generation, they don't think that I'll be training that long, but here I am over 50 years old, really just trying to stay in the gym, stay injury-free, feeling great. And I can tell you guys, you've heard me say it 100 times, I feel like I'm 20 years old in the gym. I can still train, no pain, no restrictions, no injuries. I think that's the way to be. So I think ideally 45 to 60 seconds rest, rep volume, 8 to 12 repetitions. I think set after set, a minimum of 6 to 8 different exercises per body part. So 3 sets each, 4 sets each, whatever it is, kind of determined. I think 5 plus, so you hit at different angles of how a muscle can contract, and see how it works in your routine. It's worked the best for me, obviously. Gym etiquette, J-Mac. This is gym etiquette, taking your weights off the machines. Let's do this pullover machine here. Old school rules. We hear that so many times today. So today we're doing the pullover. Now, you guys across the globe don't have a pullover machine in the gym. Many don't. But this is the oldest school pullover machine. This is Dorian Yates made this piece of equipment. Of course, original color blue, Nautilus pullover, chain driven. Okay, we never see any chain driven equipment. If they do, they're bringing it back. So ideally, this exercise really lengthening the lats. So we do this with cables, we do it with dumbbells, we try to duplicate it a million different ways. I know there's a lot of different machines out there, but nothing can duplicate this actual machine. With that chain drive, you get that full traction. And of course, this same thing, we're focusing on repetitions, but we're really just trying to use the elbows to pull. Just like I was doing like a Christmas tree on stage and hitting the lat spread or the back double. So I'm using the elbows to really pull through, get that contraction in the lats, get the best feel out of this exercise. So check it out. I'm gonna do an underhand. Yep. All right, so with this, the weight doesn't have to be crazy. So the main thing is the contraction. You know what they say, safety first. So we're gonna have to lock ourselves in the next set, really get that feel. So first set is always a feel set, and then we'll go into some really working exercises. This is a little more controlled. You notice how I talk about explosive, but I feel like with this one, I want to feel the movement a little more. So you notice I pause to try to really engage the muscle. So I know it's confusing, but a lot of people talk about mind to muscle connection. I feel like it's kind of foreign talk to someone that's fairly new to training. They don't really know how to lock it in, but what we try to do is we try to visualize how the muscle is contracting under tension. And I think that's really the best way to explain it. And sometimes you gotta close your eyes and you have to feel how the muscle locks in. It took me years to figure it out, and I still finding different movements that really appeal most to me. So when I come to different gyms, you know, like many of you guys see me train on like social media, like Instagram and whatever at Kilo Club. I don't get to venture down to this gym as much. We seem to shoot a lot here, right? This one has a lot of different pieces of equipment. So when I actually travel to a different gym, that's why I always talk about this. You should travel, and if you have gyms in your region, you should travel a different gym maybe on the weekends or whatnot. It gives you a good opportunity to try different equipment, to get out of the monotonous routine. Sometimes it's just about change up. Sometimes the motivation is just hitting a different gym, training with different people, training different tempos, time of day, listening to different music, training with different people. I think, you know, we all kind of need a refresh once in a while. Ideally today, getting on equipment that I don't usually get to use, which is that low row, that reverse grip, this pullover machine. I mean, we'll probably do a CDK row, a couple more exercises. Like I said, I'll probably do about 5 different movements, kind of get the feel. I just wanted to give more of an instructional video so you guys could see how my mind was working, maybe give a few tips. If you guys take one thing out of this whole video of suggestion that you can put into your routine, it's all I care about. You know, I'm trying to do, I mean, how many times have I done a back video? I think the last one I launched on YouTube just not long ago was a back video trying a different gym, but I want to be able to showcase, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I suggest through the experience. Not to say it always matches up with everyone's routine, but so we're gonna do one more set, really get that squeeze and go at it. All right, so we're gonna do something a little different from the past. So normally, for you guys that followed me back in the day, you've seen me do a million seated cable rows. Now I prefer a change up a little bit. Sometimes you have a little more of a down motion, so you're pulling this way. Sometimes you're pulling, you know, straight, and then sometimes you're on the floor You actually see it on the floor, so it gives you a little more pull to the lower lats. This is a double cable system, okay? So this is gonna individually allow me to utilize my lats individually. Now, I'm not gonna do a row, one arm at a time. I'm gonna do the double row, but my starting position is gonna be palms down. And when I come back, remember, I'm not trying to come back I'm trying to keep my bat and straight and really pull with the lats. I see way too many people using their ass or their legs or everything else, their biceps to pull this weight. Now, ideally, okay, chest up, back. So it's all back movement, okay? Same thing, 8 or 12 reps. We're gonna see what this weight feels like, okay? But remember, here, and you're gonna watch me turn like this. So there's gonna be kind of a supination of what we're doing. What I like about this is, if you stood behind me, the way I'm pulling, it is allowing me to come out with these cables. So they kind of V out. So we're getting a good lat contraction. Everything is about contraction. I can't stress how many times I see people go through motions and they're not feeling the movements. So remember, repetitions count, mind to muscle connection counts. Lock your body in the best position to feel the movements and get the most benefit out of an exercise. And like I said, sometimes that's 6 reps, 8 reps, 10 reps, 12, 15, 20, doesn't really matter. As long as you're getting in fatigue in the muscle, getting out of the gym, you're growing outside the gym, feeding it, resting, recover, do it all over again in 72 hours. What?
The myth is true. You rest 45
Yeah,
seconds.
even filming a video. So yeah. So this guy just came up and he goes, the myth is true. You only rested 45 seconds. He's counting my time. The silliest question anyone's ever asked me, what is my favorite body part to train? Come on now, you know, the quad stomp is what my signature pose is. At 19, I squatted 700 pounds. In high school, I couldn't even fit into regular jeans. My legs were always genetically something that I was blessed with. It was the shape. I found out becoming a teenage national champion, my legs overpowered my upper body. So I had to take years off from training my legs. In fact, from 20 until basically 22, I barely trained my legs until I let my upper body catch up. But if you want to go through the hardest workout, remember, half your body's your legs. It always infuriates me, someone who only trains their upper body and not their legs. And remember, training your whole body is going to give you the benefit. Everything's going to grow as even. So do not neglect the lower body. But at the same time, if you're going to ask me a question on what my favorite body part to train is, make sure you do your research first. So we're going to do the standard T-bar. So I never would have done this movement, but this guy just came up to me in the gym and says, I love your T-bar rows. So I said, you know what, I'll bring back the old school. So when I was challenging Ronnie Coleman back in 2000, it started in 01, our battles, 01, 02, 3, 4, 5, I beat him in 06. But by the time 2004 rolled around, I was watching his training and I watched him do these heavy T-bar rows, which was basically a bar in the corner. So we're gonna use a handle, like a seated cable row handle, and ideally just good foot position, really work on that thickness. So if I needed to battle him and beat him with the rear double bicep, which I can't ever say I necessarily beat him, but I developed enough thickness and he regressed because of age. I was able to conquer him and beat him in 06, but definitely put on that front to back thickness. So we talk about the width. A lot of people can build great width, good cap on the shoulders, good lat width, but not a lot of people can build this thickness. And that's the difference between professional open bodybuilding and professional classic physique bodybuilding. If you notice, the density of the open guys is super thick front to back, where the classic guys don't have that density. They have width, but they don't have that thick density, which comes of years and years of training, time and time again in the gym. So we talk about rep, set, recovery, food, all those things, letting the body weight climb up. You have to be able to structure your routine to really emphasize whatever the goal is you're setting out to be. So that's why you see a lot of people transitioning from classic physique to open, because it does take time. I won my first Olympia at 33. I retired by 40. Ronnie Coleman won his first at 34. Phil Heath won his first at 31. I mean, the list goes on and on. So it does take some density to get there. And in today's era, you need crazy density to win the Mr. Olympia competition. Okay, all right, solid foot position. All right, important. Head stays forward, key. I'm gonna go up at 25. Like I said, I just did some crazy back therapy, so I don't want to tweak my back because he just tore my back to pieces. So we're gonna go up a little bit in weight, see what this feels like. So last movement, which is normally one of the first ones people do in the movement, so it's gonna be the pull down movement. So we can do this with a cable, we can do this with a machine, we can do pull-ups. Ideally, the number one exercise, I would say probably for your lats, is your standard pull-ups. In other words, with a body weight or with some weight added on. But we're gonna use this Techno Gym pull down. Now I like this because it really gives me that pull in the lat. So we talk about width exercises. This is one of the great width exercises. I know some of you guys like the front pull downs, you guys like the rear pull downs, but this is more of a machine. You're kind of in the middle, so it has that break in the middle. Same thing, 10 or 12 reps, pretty standard. Lock the body in. What I like to do with this is sit a little closer to the machine. So if you notice, I'm gonna sit close with basically my crotch is in the machine pretty much. And I'll keep the seat a little lower so I get that full extension. And ideally, I'm gonna get a little hold at the bottom, very, very slight. Half second, quarter second hold, and then get that full contraction, okay? Once again, okay, isolateral machine. So you could do this single arm at a time. I'm gonna do the double arm, really try to pull the lats, finish it off, and close it up for the back routine. Once again, power through the exercises. I love that explosive boom, just like I hit the poses. I never was always slow getting into poses. No, boom, hit those poses. Get that crazy contraction, all right? I'm gonna go up a little bit in weight. I'm gonna use a 10. I always say don't use 10s. Nothing crazy. Kind of finish this bad boy off. So like we said, 45, 60 seconds rest between. We talk about the rest time. Keep it short. All right, close to the machine here. So I talked about this, how much volume should you do? I always pick 5, 6 shit, I used to do 7 or 8. 3 sets each. So if we did, what do we say, 5 movements?
6 movements total.
6 movements times 3 sets, and I did a couple field sets, so shoot, 20 sets of back. Plenty when it's 4 meals a day, 5 hours sleep at night.
You only
Supposed
sleep
to sleep.
5 hours?
Yeah. I don't know why. You know what, man? It's just as you get older, which you're not there yet, you'll notice as you get a little older, you don't need as much sleep for some reason. I wish I could, but all right, so my current training routine, you guys ask this question all the time. Man, I wish I knew what my current training routine was because, man, with a travel schedule and training 7 days a week and I'm a very, I kind of touch and go as I work through my routines now, but I'll tell you the days, okay? So I do arms on the same day, I do chest day, I do back day, I do leg day, shoulder day, okay? Every other day training, I do abs, okay? That's on my repetitive, which is crazy because I never did abs in the off season, but now for some reason I just love training abs every other day. I do my fasted cardio in the morning every day, so then I do a session after weight training. So I actually do 2 cardio sessions a day and some sort of body part training. Now calves are done on chest day, which you guys know I prioritize, so always calves first. So prioritize the weak muscle. So if you guys have a weak muscle, so say you're doing back and biceps, prioritize those biceps first. If your back is more overpowering and you want to focus more on the biceps, either switch up the day or prioritize that muscle. But every day is different. Like I said, I just know that I train one body part a day, or if like for quads and hamstrings, I train those parts, or triceps, biceps one day. But I train 7 days a week, which I never suggest. But ideally, I'm training, like I said, just to keep moving for my mental state. And of course, I don't mind looking good sometimes either. Good pump. I noticed for me now, I always talk about how, man, I used to go in the gym when I was eating all the food and I was doing all the extra stuff. When I got in the gym and I'd do 1 set and my back would be like, but today, takes me a little more to get the pump because like I talk about, the food's not as much as supplements, the rest. I mean, back then I was like taking naps during the day, sleeping 6 to 8 hours at night. So it's a little different now, but I'll tell you lately, the workouts have been very, very substantial and really kind of feeling things. So, you know, if I can get the food in, I can rest enough, like I've had a couple days from the trip to recover, it's allowed me to be able to kind of lock myself in. I prepared for today's workout, even though I was shooting. I wanted to get it in and we kind of rolled through it. So my suggestion is always, you know, mentally prepare yourself for the gym. Train at the hours that suit you best. Now, I used to be an early trainer, midday trainer, late day trainer. Every day is different. I can promise you that. I'm never on the same schedule, so I'm not one of these guys that will go on YouTube and say, I get up at 4 a.m. and I meditate and I do, you know what, every day it's different. We have a lot of obstacles that get thrown at you in life, a lot of adversity, my travel schedule. I don't wish because I love my schedule. But structure is important, but at the same time, when you're busy and you're doing other things and enjoying life, or you have a social life, things that I did not have when I was professional bodybuilding, I would lock myself up for the 4 months before a show. And, you know, that allowed me to really hone in and I could stay on that schedule. So for me, now, you know, I'm just kind of rolling with it. And for me to actually have this kind of workout, it's just great. And I enjoy it. And once again, I want to thank you guys for following along the YouTube videos. If you guys have any comments or questions below, please chime in. I'll get on there and answer them. And, you know, we're putting out more content. Like I said, I'm trying to get back in a good rhythm. So I want to thank everyone for enticing me, the continuous support I get for pushing me to continue to do these videos. Even at, you know, my retired status now. I want to thank you guys. I appreciate you more than anything, and let's keep crushing, all right? Until the next episode, J Mac and myself are out. JTV, keep crushing it, guys.